Hi there, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make from a Google slide, create it into an awesome game on Scratch. We're going to make a maze today. There'll be a series of videos. We're going to hopefully go for about 6. This video is going to be about setting up your Scratch game, putting in the Google slides into it, and then getting it all ready. And video number 2 is going to be all about designing the game, so drawing the characters and putting in different pictures and setting up the border of the game. Number 3 is all about the movement of the character and how you can make it so it doesn't go through the walls that you're going to create. Then number 4 is going to be all about moving to the next levels, and you're going to be creating the levels. We'll then have number 5 will be about how to get to the next level, so making keys, and when you touch the key, how to go to the next spot. And then our final video will be about finishing touches, how to spruce it up a little. So after you've made a Google slide like this and you've put in all of your information, how are we going to make it into a game such as this? So if I go onto Scratch and I go full screen and I hit my green flag, you can see that I can move my character around and it has the picture that I just showed you on the Google slide. When I get to the little goal here, it'll change screen. So if I just quickly pause the game and just move my guy over here so I don't have to waste your time and you see me playing the game, we can see it goes to the next level. Here I don't have any things about kangaroos, but that's because if I go and collect the key, then all of a sudden the level starts to appear, and the more keys you get, the more of the level appears and the more information that the people playing the game can learn about kangaroos. And I go to the next level, same thing goes on like that. So how do we make a game like this? Well, glad you asked. The first step is we're going to need to download the Google Slides as different images. So yours might not look the same as mine, but it'll be hopefully similar. So I'm going to click on the very first slide. I'm going to click on File and go down to where it says Download. Then I'm going to go across to PNG image. So you could save it as a JPEG or a PNG. We find that PNG is slightly better quality, so it won't be as pixelated. So click on that one and that will save it. That's just saved, if I click on here, one image. So it's just saved it as the first slide. The other slides I don't have yet. So I'm going to have to click Escape, go to the next slide and do the same steps. Go File, Download, PNG. So I'll do that so on and so forth until I've saved them all. So I will quickly pause it, do that, and I'll come back once I've saved them all. Great, once you've done that, it would be very helpful to keep organized by putting it into a folder. So I'm going to right hand click on my folder, click on New, make a new folder, and I'm going to call this Sprites. So sprites are the images and characters that you're going to use in the game. So I'll drag and drop that into my sprites folder. And maybe what would be helpful is I might rename them. So I might just go, this is number 1, I'll just call it front. And then I wanted the life cycles to be number 2, so I'll write 2 life cycle. And then we had our adaptation, so this one, I'll rename that one. Whoops. And I'll go adaptation. And our final one, fun facts. All right, brilliant. Now we've done that, we can go in and create our first game. So you'll need to log on to Scratch. So once you're on the front page, you will want to click on Sign In and type in your password and username. Once you've done that, we'll click on Create. So I've logged on, I'll click on Create, and this will set up a new Scratch game, brand new just for you. So once that's loaded, we'll change the name. So I'll pause it while it's loading. Okay, it's all loaded now. Up here where it says Untitled, I'm going to give it a name. So this is for our inquiry project, so I might call it Inquiry Project I might do a little hyphen. That's the button next to the 0 on your keyboard. Create a project. I'm going to go animal adaptation. And then mine's about kangaroos. So maybe I'll call it kangaroo animal adaptation. Kangaroo animal adaptation. So, maze, because I'm going to make a maze. Brilliant. All right, our next step is we are wanting to import our levels. So, in backdrops, we'll click on backdrops. We are going to want to click on backdrops again. So this is the editor where you can draw them. We're going to want to go down to choose a backdrop and click upload backdrop. So I've got mine in my downloads folder. So here we've got downloads, I've got to sprites, and I've got the front cover. So I'll click on import, and there we go. I might delete the very first one since I don't need a blank one. And then I'll go in and do that for the rest of them. Okay, now I've done that. One of the final things we're going to do is we're going to convert it to vector. It just means the quality of the image is a little bit better. If you zoom in really closely, you'll find that the image looks quite pixelated. It's because this is what we call a bitmap image. So if we click on vector, it means it doesn't matter how big or small we size it, it should hopefully keep the same quality. So I'll do that to all of them. Now there's strengths and weaknesses to vectors versus bitmap. And in fact, we're going to convert it back to bitmap or certain images later on in the video series. So the final step for this part is we might want to quickly resize some of the images. So while it's a vector and we have this ticked, we can click on the image and resize it. So instead of clicking from the side and it looks all squished and then I bring this down in, I want to keep it the same ratio, meaning the same length and width ratio is going to be the same. So I'm going to click on either corner and then I can bring it in. So maybe that would be a good size for me. Now it's important that it's centered. So I will want to drag it right to the middle and let it snap. And then if I wanted to bring it up, then I might use my arrow keys so that it doesn't go a little bit to the left or right. I just want to go straight up. I'm going to hold the up button until it's in the right spot. It's not doing it. Oh, there you go. It's finally caught up. I think because I'm recording the video, my computer's running a bit slow, but that's okay. Hopefully it runs faster for you when you're trying it. So I think that looks good to me. We can always try and fix it up later. But for now, that looks good. So I'm just going to check them all and make sure we can read everything. We're going to put in a border in our maze, so we don't want things to be too close to the edge. So again, I'm going to drag it. This time I'm going to show you another way of doing it. If we hold down the Alt key, because it's already centered, if we hold down the Alt key on our keyboard and then drag it, it's actually going to stay in the middle and all of the corners are going to come in at the same time. So that's probably too small now, so I might just bring it out a bit more. And that looks good to me. So that stays centered, so I don't need to drag it and move it. If we go to the next one, that looks all right. I don't think we need to change that. And this one, maybe just a smidge. Just the words on the corners might just miss out. All right, we can always change it later. That looks good to me. So we can see it's also kept the same name that we named at the start. So that's beautiful. We're now wanting to make a first character. Now you can use the scratch cat, but when we're using our collision, whether it hits walls or not, it makes life a lot easier if the shape has as little edges that are going to get stuck as possible. So we're going to make it a square. Square or circle would be easier. So I'm going to first of all name it. I'm going to call it player. Then click on costumes. Using the arrow, I want to drag everything and hit delete on my keyboard, or you could hit delete here. And I'm going to click on the square, and I'm going to just keep it purple for now. And I'm just going to draw a square. Now, if you're like me and it's looking like a rectangle, if you hold shift, then it locks in the length and width as identical. So I might let go there. And that looks pretty good to me, and maybe make it a little bigger. All right, and then make sure, we click back on the arrow, and then we can drag and make sure it is definitely centered. If it's not centered, then the coding side of things might be a little difficult later. And then with costume 2, I'm just going to hit delete. We don't need scratch cat at all. So instead of calling costume 1, I'll just call it player maybe 1. All right. So go back into the code. If we click on the backdrops and click on the front cover, that's good. We've got our character. We're going to start somewhere in the corner here. I think our game looks all set up ready for step number 2, where we're going to be designing our maze and putting that into the game, and then setting up the border and making sure the levels are ready to be coded. So that's the next video. All the best. See you then.